Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over how you can make a thumbnail for free if you don't have Photoshop or any other software. So let's open up Chrome and let's get started. Okay, so here I have Chrome open. The first thing you want to do is head to this website, photop.com. I'll leave a link to it in the description. It is literally just Photoshop but in a browser, so you can literally get Photoshop for free without actually buying it, basically. And you could open Photoshop files, Adobe XD files, PDFs, basically anything. So we're gonna make a thumbnail with this. So we're gonna create a new project, and we're gonna change the width to 1920 and the height to 1080, and we're gonna leave the DPI the same, and I'm going to name it no. Okay, and now we're going to click create. But as you can see, there's different templates here that you can work with, but we're just gonna make one from scratch. So create. Okay, so now that we have our canvas set up, we want to find the background for our image. So we're going to go to this website called unsplash.com, which is basically a website that has a whole bunch of images that people upload, and you can use them for free. So I'm going to look through the wallpaper section and find something that I like. We're gonna blur it, and of course this could be any image you want. Usually in my thumbnails I screenshot my Adobe After Effects and I put that behind and just blur it. Okay, so I like this one, so I'm gonna download it, and as you can see, it started to download. Okay, so I have my image, and now we're just gonna drag it on, and we're going to resize by but hold shift when you do so it retains like the aspect ratio, like that. Okay, so now we have our background right here, and now we're going to go over to filter, blur, and add a Gaussian blur, and just make it how as blurry as you want. Like I said before, usually I keep my After Effects workspace as the background, and I kind of want it to be visible, but for this one I'm probably gonna make it a little bit more blurry, just because it doesn't make sense to like have mountains visible if that's like irrelevant so to the video. So I'm just gonna do that, and now we have a smart filter on here, which is exactly the same as Photoshop. So now what we could do is, I'm going to close this, and we're going to make a new layer by pressing this button. To go over to our rectangle selection tool, and we're going to highlight everything. Have everything highlighted, we're going to go over to this gradient button, long press, and select the paint bucket tool. Now over here, we're going to change this color to whatever you want. I like something like this, and then we're going to click on it with the bucket tool selected, and that should happen. So now we're going to select the rectangle tool again and select. We're going to go over here and change it to color dodge, and as you can see, it kind of adds like a tint to it, and we can lower the opacity down. So this is all up to you, to your preference, and I like it like that. So this is without and this is with. I think I like that a lot. So now we're going to add the text. So to do that, we're going to go over to this T over here, and we're just going to click anywhere on there and put the title of your video or whatever you want. So I'm just going to put thumbnail, and then we're going to press Ctrl A to highlight everything in that text we just created, and we could change the font. There's a lot of fonts here. So there's a lot of fonts here, and you can even load some from your computer. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna try and make it out from the fonts here, so you can see that you don't need to download fonts or anything. And I like this font right here, so Distant Galaxy. And we're gonna change the size of it, so probably like right here. So here's our text, and we want to go over here to transform controls. Usually in Photoshop, to do this, you would just press Ctrl T, but if you do that on the browser, it will just open up a new tab, so that's how we have to do it. And to make it bigger, just do the same thing, hold it from here and just hold shift to keep the aspect ratio and drag up. So I want it this big. Nice. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna come over here, have the layer selected, go over to effect, and we're going to add a stroke. So this should pop up, the layer styles window, and I'm going to change this to white just so it has a nice contrast. You can do this however you want. Come on, white. And oh, make sure you press OK. Just don't exit out without pressing OK. And then just make this as big as you want. I'm going to make it 13 with an opacity of 100, and then we're going to add a drop shadow. Black is fine for me, and multiply. Just change the opacity and the angle. So I like it like this, and we could add other effects like an inner shadow, although you probably won't be able to see that because this is black, so I'm going to change it to white. Press OK, and you can change this to normal, and now you can see it. And I'm just going to lower the opacity down a little there, so now it's still visible but it's not as harsh. So now we're just going to press OK. And here is our final text. And something I like doing is adding a border. So we're going to create a new layer. Make sure you have the rectangle selection tool selected. Highlight everything. Go back to the bucket tool and change the color to white. And now press it and it should be like that. You can press Ctrl D to deselect everything. Now we're going to create a new layer. Make another rectangle. So it's different here because for some reason it won't let me add a stroke to just that. So we're going to have to make another rectangle and then cut that rectangle from the other one. So it'll all make sense in a second. So just make a rectangle, and we're gonna change the color to black, and go back to the bucket tool and just select that, and then Ctrl D. Press Ctrl, hold it, and select this image, so the black one on the top, so that selects that, and then click the white layer. Make sure you have it selected and press backspace. And now if you delete this black layer we made, as you can see, it adds a border. Okay, so now that we have our border, we're gonna click it, go into the blending options, and then press overlay. And as you can see, it adds a nice kind of effect to it. And we're gonna keep it selected, go to effects, and we're going to add a drop shadow. Just make the opacity lower. It doesn't have to be too harsh. And you could change this. Oh, and make sure to uncheck use global angle. Probably like right here is fine. So 138 is a good one for me. You can change it to whatever you want. So now we have this. Make sure you have transform controls checked on. And then usually what I do is I set this at an angle. So like that. I think that looks nice in my opinion. And now we're going to select our text and select the background as well as the text. So hold control and then hold the background, and then we're going to center the text to the everything. And then usually what I like doing is adding like an arrow or something, so I have one right here. You guys can find some on Google or something. And here's my arrow. Just press enter. And we're going to add a drop shadow to this so it's more noticeable because it kind of blends in with everything. And the distance is right here. And okay, so I like this, so I'm going to keep it like this. And make sure you hold shift whenever you're scaling it down so the aspect ratio doesn't get lost. And I'm gonna put it somewhere over here. Probably over here, but then that means we're gonna have to change our text. So I'm gonna move it here and rotate it a little bit like this. Go back to the red arrow and put it like right here. And that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna turn my transform controls off so you guys can see the final product. So here it is. So now in order to save it, you can quickly save it as a PNG by just pressing this button, but go to file and you can just export it as a JPEG, a PNG. I recommend the JPEG, and you could even save as a Photoshop file and you could publish it online. So I'm just gonna export as JPEG, and so here it is, and just save. And here's our thumbnail. So now we're done. So thank you guys for watching.